Hey everybody, Jamie Pay here. Welcome to this video. This week I have a couple of sweet makes, in my opinion, that I'd like to share with you. So can't wait to get started. So let's go. Okay, so I have here on the table a bunch of things. And this week, I'll just put this out here. This week I'm inspired because ScrapbookCom for their live stream bundle is promoting the birthday animals rub-ons and this die set that's Happy Birthday and Celebrate. And there's more. This charming A2 paper pad. Super. Let me just go ahead and show this to you because this is a really, really sweet, very versatile, full of florals, this is a great little pattern here that you're going to be seeing me work with. It's just really good. And I am actually inspired by what I just shared with you. And I've been thinking about this for a little while now because I want to start on my grandson's album. I have a 6x8 album here. I don't think I'm going to keep with this one. I don't think I want the gold polka dots showing. I think I want a solid one, but that's beside the point. I'm still getting started on it as I decide what album I want to work on. So here's a little tip. Don't let not having something stop you from going through with your thoughts. So I have some ideas here for at least getting his first year album started. And yes, for those who do ask me the question often, do I keep albums for my grandkids? I have completed a first year album for my granddaughter. I believe the walkthrough is on my YouTube, but I also did some of those pages in the first SBC Fest, I think real quick, 2022. So I will link that also because there's some really fun ideas in there. And so kind of going on the same idea as that walkthrough and as those pages, I'm going to do another 6x8. And I just want to get this one started. And I really wanted to use these rub-ons. Okay, enough chatter. What I've done already is I've pre-made a smallish little book. And here's where this is going to go. Let me pull this out again. I already have this 3x4 pocket page in here, and I went ahead and filled them in with some of the patterns from the charming paper because it's just so charming. I have here an open 6x8 page protector, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put acetate plus a sheet of vellum in here. You're going to see that in a minute. And I actually want to attach this to the top of that first page. This is going to be my opening page. And what I did, this is the exact A2 size, so it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches tall. I used one of the ScrapbookCom square dies and cut out the front page. So that's why you're seeing that little square there. And I've already folded up some additional pages, and then I'm going to staple it in the middle. This is just like a little look at just like the first couple photos from the week of his life. They're very special to me. They have a lot of meaning to them. There's a lot I kind of want to say about them. And then I'm going to kind of dive in here later on with his monthly stories. So we're going to basically make, this could be for, let me explain my thought process if you are new to this channel, and thank you. We actually have a lot of new friends on here. Thank you so much for subscribing and being a part of what happens here in this community. We have a lot of fun. I try to share some really good ideas with you. I think they're good. And so here's my thinking behind what I'm doing here. While this is like a mini album inside a mini album, which I do that actually quite a bit. This could be its own freestanding mini album. So what I've done here, I've taken cardstock and I folded it so that it is, like I told you, the A2 size. I mounted the A2 pattern paper to it, and then that's when I cut out that middle, and it's going to be an introduction. It's going to be it's going to be the introduction to this little mini album, and you're going to see how I'm going to use this guy here. He's a rub-on. I just think he's so sweet, and I love the celebration because new babies are a celebration. So that's going to happen there. Then I have over here a couple more sheets of that charming paper, and using part of the bundle includes these birthday banners. I'm going to use Celebrate. This is going to be the drop shadow part, and this is going to be the letters in this really sweet little pattern here. So I'm just jumping right in to the actual cutting of it is all I'm doing here. Just grabbing the Scout, which I love to keep on my desk. Can we talk about that for a minute? No, let's not. Let's stay focused here. Just pushing out the letters to spell celebrate and doing the lighter on top of the blue. And I guess I should have maybe, well, you're going to see when this comes together here in a few minutes, I maybe should have done different than the blue. But sometimes, you know, you kind of get into anything and you just got to embrace it. It just is what it is. So that's what I'm doing here. Totally embracing it. And it's okay. And as we'll talk about later, there's always more than one way to make a thing. And there's like no perfect way. So we're just going to enjoy this. All right, celebrate's all in place, so there we go. I like having that contrast there. I think that's going to look pretty cool here as well. Let's see. So basically, what I'm kind of doing is eyeballing everything at this point. I think I'm going to have him sit here kind of high-ish. But I don't want the celebrate to go over his face, so I got to kind of be mindful of that here. So I'll put the celebrate on last. First, though, before I lay him down, I'm pretty sure by looking at the colors that are here on this rub-on set, that antique linen distress is, yeah, it's a nice match for what's going on here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to real lightly just have a line inside framing where my bear is going to sit. I'm going to come in here and just add some color. And I don't necessarily need to stay inside of where I framed it. I just want to know and make sure that I have some focus there. So as I do this, I just wanted him to have a little bit of pop behind him. I'm probably going to come in here a little bit darker. What I have loved to discover about these rub-ons from ScrapbookCom is how well they can still transfer over inked backgrounds. That has been a lot of fun. If you saw my Christmas in July video, I posted last week, so the last one for July on my YouTube channel, that's exactly what we did. We had a lot of fun creating some backgrounds with rub-ons and inky texture. Be sure and check that out. Those ideas will serve us all for a long time, no matter what it is we are making. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead. I think I have enough color back there. It wasn't completely about just coloring the whole background. It's about giving it a little bit of color. So now the little tricky part is deciding how I want him framed in here. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and frame him. So what I'm going to do is, I think that's pretty good, but I want to make sure that my celebrate can still come across here without covering him up. So I might need to just pull him down just a little bit. I love making these baby projects because you get to just use the cutest things for celebrating the babies. I love that. I love that so much. All right, I think this is going to be good. I think I like that. Okay, so we're gonna go for it. One of the things I'm really watching out for is that down here, that it looks like he's completely sitting on the surface. He's kind of tilted here, so it might be, you might be thinking, well, he doesn't look really straight on top, but he's straight here, right where he's sitting. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so let's go ahead and commit. I know it can be scary to commit with rub-ons. It is sort of kind of like the whole measure twice, cut once. So, you know, take your time. If you're trying to frame something up, just take your time and make sure it's where you want it to be. I get that. Make sure you buy more than one rub-on package, because then you have a backup and you can then hopefully not make a mistake. We don't want to make mistakes, but just in case, then you got a backup. Or you're going to find, oh, I loved making this so much, I need to make another one. So then you have that. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment here and make sure that I'm slowly, I've talked about this before, so pardon me if I'm just repeating myself for you, but I'm just going to go slow here, making sure all the bits to my background actually go into place. Oh, he looks really good. I love how he turned out. He's really cool. He's a really cool image for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead now and attach our celebrate And what we're going to want to do here is I only want to attach right up here. I want the Celebrate to actually be floating on all the pages, or rather over this page. So what's going to happen is I believe I just need glue here on this edge, and then same with the other edge. So I'm using the Arches glue for this. It's become one of my favorite craft glues to use. I love the tips. This one's really, really skinny tip, so I can just align that glue right where I need it. Yes, I add a little bit too much glue, and I don't want it to go inside my frame, so I gotta be real careful here. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of line this up here too before I commit. And I got a little extra glue over here. The thing about this particular glue, it's gonna dry clear for me. Love that, because I can't do anything without making a little glue smudge. So I'm going to let that sit there for a minute, and then I'm going to come in here and just clip that off there. Okay, I decided I wanted to add a little ribbon element up here. So I have this Craft Perfect Sage Green crafter's ribbon here, and I'm going to cut, I don't know, probably about close to about 3-inch swatch. And then I will tie it just in one single knot, trying to make the sides, each end a little uneven rather. So that's a little too uneven. So as I am knotting it, I'm also kind of pulling the two ends up. I don't want there just to be a straight line and then a knot in the middle. So I'm kind of manipulating it a little bit. So even that's better. You can see this one turned out pretty good. And it has that knot in the middle that I can then add some glue to. I actually need to kind of make this a better finished edge. And then right there where the letters meet that banner part, I just wanted to add just a little element. I wanted to break it up a little bit. I wanted to give it better idea that it is a banner. And so that was the idea behind this, and hopefully it works, because you know, you never know until you try. All right, another thing I want to do, and we'll show you here, is I want to create, because I know I'm going to be working in the 6x8 album with pocket pages, I know I'm going to want to have pocket cards, and I know I'm going to want to make them. And so this is a fun way to just start making things, even though you're not really sure exactly where they might end up. I don't know for sure where this card is going to end up, but I know I want to make a pocket card. So that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to utilize the rub-ons for this. We're going to utilize the pattern paper for this as well. I'm coming back in here and sticking with this antique linen Distress Oxide with this ink blending brush and giving color to the edges for sure. So I just want to give that some color. I have some other elements on here because it's one of those things where I know I'm going to use this, I'm just not really quite sure where I'm going to use it yet, right? That kind of is the thing that happens. I also have this greenish ticket, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a part away of this because I know I don't want to use the whole thing. I think I'm also going to go ahead, those edges that I just revealed, I'm going to also go ahead and add some yellow to it. I know it might just blend in, and I'm kind of okay with that. I just didn't want it to be completely white. So, you know, that's maybe something that could go here. So here's the thing when we do embellished clusters, and I would love to direct you to that video, which I will also link here, is that we're just building some layers. And I wanted to use the pattern paper, which actually this is a ticket from, I believe it is 49er Market's Crafty Garden Ephemera. And actually that matches really nicely. I like how that's working out. And I have pre-cut some labels, and I actually used Tim Holtz vintage labels to just cut a bunch of different sizes out because I didn't really know what I was going to want. And I probably will now save these just exactly for this album and use them throughout and kind of keep a theme going on there. The other thing I told you I wanted to add was the rub-on, and I believe I want to add these, what are they called? Balloons. There you go. Although that would be kind of fun too. The possibilities are endless. I love that. I love how there is, I'm sure you've experienced this, where you are getting ready to make a thing And you're like, oh, but that would work there too. And then like the dilemma is real, right? And you're like, okay, now what do I do? It doesn't matter. Either one is going to be an awesome choice. And we've talked about that too, the whole overthinking part of what we do here. I might even go ahead, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it so that I'm going to make these tickets kind of flat back here. Okay, let's pull this down. I'm going to make these tickets kind of flat back here, and then everything else will be built up on there. But there's a little sweet ribbon here on this balloon, and I want to preserve it and keep it right there on that ticket. So what I need to go ahead and do is go ahead and commit this ticket. And actually, while I'm committing, I want to come back up here and just pull a little bit of these other edges up, just a bit. Small little hit there. I'm going to bring this down here. And sometimes what I'll do, like I showed you the 3x4 pockets, and there's 4 different pockets. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll have these photos in these other pockets, but I want one of the pockets just to kind of break it up a little bit. And this is how I'm doing that with these pocket cards. I can't wait to show you. After I get this rubbed in here, I'm not sure you can see the different patterns that are on this balloon, but I want to show that to you because they're really, really cool. I love that. That could be a really fun stamp too. If we're ready to pull up our transfer yet, not quite. Got a few sticky places. Other than that though, it's coming up pretty good. Okay, do you see the pattern? Isn't that fun? It adds its own kind of layer and texture as well. So I have this die here that I cut out this circle from. I'm going to pop the circle up with a 2mm foam adhesive square. I'm trying to decide which direction would you do this. I think I'm going to go this way. I like the contrast of the stripes. That's why I wanted to add it in here. And then I wasn't really sure if I was going to like having this blue on top, but I think it's going to work out okay. I know you see me keep doing that. It's like I'm convincing myself. No, that's going to work, Jim. Oh, okay. So there we go. So that's just a fun, real simple cluster. This is going to need a sentiment. I'm not even quite sure what that sentiment's going to be yet. The other thing I have here still on my table is the celebration banners. Actually, I have a bunch of them here in this bag. The celebration banners, I've used these before, but it has the star banner and then these little stars. So I took those little stars and I used some of the charming paper and added that and cut those stars up. And I'm trying to decide if I actually want them. And I think I do, but I think I'm going to do them here around this label. And when you pop, and I might actually do one here, when you pop that glue on there and you pick up your star, it just lightly set it on your glue, because not mashing it down, when everything dries, it's going to give this nice float element to those stars. Here, for that, I love that. I'm going to do another one here. I'm going to go with 5, because either do 3 or 5. You don't necessarily want to do an even number. And I think 1 down here as well. Okay, that worked out fun. This one's turned over. Let's get it right side up. There we go. So that was a fun little extra detail to add on there and just provide some additional interest to all this. Okay, I just came around the edges of this with Stormy Sky, just to give it a little bit, almost like a vignette of color. And so the last thing I'm going to do with this card here is I'm going to actually cut out, I'm going to rub on this gift box, and then I'm going to cut it out. And I know that might kind of go against what our rub-ons are all about, but here's the thing. These rub-ons are our tools, and we can make them work however we think we want to make them work. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I really kept hemming and hawing about it. I'm like, well, I really want to show how to add these rub-ons to the surface. And we've done that a couple times here. We did that with our bear, and we've done it with these balloons. Well, now we're still going to add it to a surface, but we're going to use it as part of our clustered embellishment pop-up here. And I'm just going to brace it and make that work because that's how I wanted to make it work. So I'm giving you all permission to use the rub-ons the way you want to use your rub-ons. And so there's a little tiny drop shadow here. I'm going to cut that right off. And I use the mixed media paper here. This is a great way. I get asked a lot. What do you say about DIY embellishments? Could you do a video about that? I feel like I do a video for DIY embellishments all the time. And here I'm doing another one here. This is an embellishment. This is like making your own little piece of ephemera and putting it to work on your page, on your card, on your tag, on a pocket card that we're making right here. So this is a great way to DIY your embellishments. And I was tempted here too, I will add this, I was tempted to do that with the balloons, to pop them up, but I'm really happy actually that they are in the background, and then it just kind of allows us to build up here in like this foreground part. And so I'm loving it. I'm loving how this is turning out. So I'm going to finish this and I'm going to attach it to our pocket card. All right, that's what it looks like when it's all done. This would be a great embellishment to have for two things I'm thinking of. Either like the page where you want to kind of make a record of the gifts that were given to you, for, if in this case, for a baby shower. Or this would be just a great even prompt for the child is the gift. The pictures are the gift. The memories that are in the picture are the memories that are on the page that are in the pockets are the gifts. So I like how this turned out, and there's another idea for you. All right, we're going to wrap this up with a little gift card. And little, I mean, it is 6 inches wide by 4 inches tall, and I folded it in half. So it's going to be a little 3x4 card. Obviously, as with all things, could be any size you want, cover it any way you want. This is just one singular way to do a thing. Gosh, it's why I love paper crafting so much. So I'm kind of lining this up here on my grid, and I want to cover that left half-inch side. Then I'm going to trim away this diagonal striped paper with my craft knife. And then as I close the card again, my intention here is just to kind of give a little bit of an indent so I can easily tear it, and I end up just tearing off the cover paper. And I still need to go back and now trim off the cardstock. So I'm just making way to do that, and using a ruler. The part that's covered with the ruler will be the part that has the tear look to it. So that's what I'm thinking as I'm going about. I wanted a teared edge. How about a torn edge? It's usually a better way to say that, James. And I like how that turned out, because I love, here's what I love. Do you want to know what I love? I love that floral against that stripe. And I want to punch out a circle in the middle of this card. So I did that with one of the nested circle dies, and I'm just tossing that with my scraps for maybe some other use. So the next thing I'm going to do is decide on an inside paper, but I'm only going to cut it the same circle size. It probably should be a little bit smaller, but it'll be okay, because you're going to see me fuddling a little bit with it kind of going through that circle part, but it actually worked out okay. So don't make that a deal if this is something you're doing as well. So I went with a lighter pattern here, because you're going to see here next, I'm going to grab and cut out little Mr. Cute Bunny, and he's going to be the focal point on this card. I just think this is a super sweet baby shower or welcome new baby kind of an idea here, and that rub-on just looks perfect there. So then using 1mm foam squares, I'm going to pop that right back up there in the middle, and I like the little interactive part. It's a really simple card, but it has some interesting features with the way the patterns are and with the stripe. And then I'm just going to wrap it with some more of the sage green ribbon, and basically going to call this good. I hope you enjoyed watching these 3 really simple projects that came out of that new charming collection. I'm eager to show you, I'm eager to get done my album, but I'm eager to show you as I go along how that's going to come together. And so there is the 3x4 card, our little mini album, or it could be a card too. That'd be a fun card. And then our pocket card. So thank you so very much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Everything is posted in the description links.